He answered, Did I not tell thee that thou canst have no patience with me? Moses said, If ever I ask thee about anything after this, keep me not in thy company. Then wouldst thou have received full excuse from my side. Then they proceeded, until when they came to the inhabitants of a town, they asked them for food, but they refused them hospitality. They found there a wall on the point of falling down, but he set it up straight. Moses said, If thou hadst wished, surely thou couldst have exacted some recompense for it. He answered, This is the parting between me and thee. Now will I tell thee the interpretation of those things over which thou wast unable to hold patience. As for the boat, it belonged to certain men in dire want. They plied on the water. I but wished to render it unserviceable. For there was after them a certain king who seized on every boat by force. As for the youth, his parents were people of faith, and we feared that he would grieve them by obstinate rebellion and ingratitude to Allah. So we desired that their Lord would give them in exchange a son better in purity of conduct and closer in affection. As for the wall, it belonged to two youths, orphans, in the town. There was beneath it a buried treasure, to which they were entitled. Their father had been a righteous man. So thy Lord desired that they should attain their age of full strength and get out of the treasure a mercy and favour from thy Lord. I did it not of my own accord. Such is the interpretation of those things over which thou wast unable to hold patience. They ask thee concerning Zulkarnain. Say, I will rehearse to you something of his story. Verily, we established his power on earth, and we gave him the ways and the means to all ends. One such way he followed, until when he reached the setting of the sun, he found it set in a spring of murky water. Near it he found a people. We said, O Zulkarnain, thou hast authority either to punish them or to treat them with kindness. He said, Whoever doth wrong, him shall we punish. Then shall he be sent back to his Lord, and he will punish him with a punishment unheard of before. But whoever believes and works righteousness, he shall have a goodly reward, and easy will be his task as we order it by our command. Then followed he another way, until when he came to the rising of the sun, he found it rising on a people for whom we had provided no covering protection against the sun. He left them as they were. We completely understood what was before him. Then followed he another way, until when he reached a tract between two mountains, he found beneath them a people who scarcely understood a word. They said, "O Zulkarnain, the Gog and Magog people do great mischief on earth. Shall we then render thee tribute in order that thou mightest erect a barrier between us and them?" He said, "The power in which my Lord has established me is better than tribute. Help me therefore with strength and labor. I will erect a strong barrier between you and them. Bring me blocks of iron." At length, when he had filled up the space between the two steep mountainsides, he said, "Blow with your bellows." Then, when he had made it red as fire, he said, "Bring me that I may pour over it molten lead." Thus were they made powerless to scale it or dig through it. He said, "This is a mercy from my Lord. But when the promise of my Lord comes to pass, he will make it into dust, and the promise of my Lord is true." On that day we shall leave them to surge like waves on one another. The trumpet will be blown, and we shall collect them all together. And we shall present hell that day for unbelievers to see, all spread out. Unbelievers whose eyes had been under a veil from remembrance of me, and who had been unable even to hear. Do the unbelievers think that they can take my servants as protectors besides me? Verily, we have prepared hell for the unbelievers for their entertainment. Say, shall we tell you of those who lose most respect of their deeds? Those whose efforts have been wasted in this life, while they thought that they were acquiring good by their works? They are those who deny the signs of their Lord and the fact of their having to meet him in the hereafter. Vain will be their works, nor shall we, on the day of judgment, give them any weight. That is their reward, hell, because they rejected faith and took my signs and my messengers by way of jest. As to those who believe and work righteous deeds, they have for their entertainment the gardens of paradise, wherein they shall dwell for aye. No change will they wish for from them. Say, if the ocean were ink, wherewith to write out the words of my Lord, sooner would the ocean be exhausted than would the words of my Lord, even if we added another ocean like it for its aid. Say, I am but a man like yourselves, but the inspiration has come to me that your God is one God. Whoever expects to meet his Lord, let him work righteousness, and in the worship of his Lord admit no one as partner.